So you probably already saw these. Posted a couple pictures of them in the, whatever they call the community part of YouTube. I don't know if the leather was exactly obvious from those pictures, but if you were guessing, right before I say it, I'm curious what you think this is. I think it's kind of darker than I imagine, but it's really neat. And then I'll throw the photo up, but what kind of set me off about this leather, I was looking at the 79 that they had still in stock, you know, before they really cleared. They already had the holiday sale going, but they hadn't cleared out their stock. I saw a pair on their site. They have a worn boots page that shows boots with wear, and this is olive waxed flesh, Horween product, and it just looks super sick when it's worn. And obviously I've seen whites, MPs, and other whites models in olive wax flesh, and I think it's one of the better wax flesh. It's kind of more my style. Black wax flesh is kind of weird, but it's cool that the undertone is so light. I'm not really a huge fan of brown wax flesh, which is similar to I think what they call their Java, because it's super dark. It should be called like super dark brown wax flesh. I guess that one's just never been my favorite. But olive has definitely been up there as far as probably, I would say, my favorite or second favorite. Natural wax flesh is the one I really wish I'd got years ago, or a year or so back when I think Nick's had it. Maybe Truman will have it if Truman stays in business, which I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'll throw up some of these. I don't know if it's on X or whatever, or Twitter, that he's posted, but I assume it's Vince, the owner, but people have been sharing these posts online, like on Reddit and whatnot, and some crazy stuff that he's posted. Maybe I'll throw those up, but it's kind of wild. Everyone's saying, what's going on, Truman? I might even title this video that, because like, what's going on, Truman? I really hope he's just messing around to get people to buy boots, kind of like a weird sales tactic, but clearly something's going on, and, it'd be a real shame, I feel, if they stop making boots. They make a really nice boot, and the value is really good, so that's very compelling. This pair I got super cheap, so I think this is normally this is an Upland, they call it. This is my first Upland from them, which is an 8-inch instead of a 6-inch, like my other. I guess I have three other pairs, but one of them's for sale. Those Cognac horse rump, those are all 6-inch boots. They call their 8-inch an Upland. As far as I know, there's no other customization you can do, so they all have a 2-piece backstay with a pull loop. And I don't know, this may not be the prettiest setup. This reminds me of whites, where it's kind of a bigger backstay with a simple stitch, and they kind of build the pull loop into that. I guess if I had to say, I would say I like this better than white's setup, but I kind of was more, I don't know, keen on the way Nick's does it with the triangles and stuff. That was kind of a more interesting stitch setup. But this is definitely, maybe I would put this ahead of White's. White's is weird. It's kind of like a triangular shaped pull tab, and I'm not a big fan of it. On my cruisers and cutters have it. It's kind of weird, to be honest. But anyway, so I got these real quick. Actually, let me move these out of the way. One comment, nothing special, but this is the typical experience. I've shown in other videos, so I didn't bother to record it. Each boot is wrapped up in a couple layers of this Truman tissue paper or whatever. You get 2 sets of laces. I'll talk about what's on the boots right now. You get these really nice boot laces that Truman sells. If you look at them on their accessories page, I think they're made in Spain. But these are definitely very high quality. They're $10 for a set. It's kind of a bargain. I think this is a very nice lace. Or if it's not a bargain, it's very well priced. Because Viberg has a really nice flat lace, and I think they're $12 or something, and you have to pay exorbitant shipping from Canada. So this is a nice thick round boot lace. They give you some rawhide. Nothing special here. It's the part, everybody has seemingly the same rawhide laces. I assume it's probably one or two suppliers for the whole world. And then you get the little care card or whatever. This seems to be the same one that came with my other pairs. It shows a Rambler. There's no date or anything on it, so must just be kind of a standard one. So that's all you got in the box. This box is labeled, so what's odd, I just randomly noticed, so this one you can see olive wax flesh, Upland 20 last, 12D. I'll talk about that in a second. Truman, made in USA. So anyway, getting that out of the way, coming back to the boots. What I was gonna say is I realized my natural cypress pair is my only pair that doesn't have that sticker, and I wonder if it was because it was like a special run that they didn't bother to label it. I don't really know what that's about. Every other pair I've bought now, so I've bought 4 total. Natural cypress 20 last, cognac horse rump 79. That's the pair that's for sale. Still haven't been able to sell them. Then my 20 last Moc Toe in the sesame double shot, and then now this Upland in olive wax flesh. 3 of those have had a sticker. They're kind of telling you the model. For whatever reason, that natural cypress pair that I got when they ran it in, I guess it was sort of spring delivery in summer of 2023. That one doesn't have a sticker, which is kind of random, but who knows? And it's different. It's the only one that has a single piece backstay, and it has the only one I've ever seen that has the gum commando, like the gum rubber, where it's kind of like a almost not transparent, but not, it's slightly opaque or whatever, kind of tan brown. I've never seen them do that again on another boot, and I don't know if they even have any single piece backstays going on right now. So and that one is a 20 last with the gusset really high up, and it's all eyes. So that was like a different kind of run. It came with tan laces. There's a lot of things going on. I still haven't really figured out how Truman does it, and I feel like part of it is they're changing, but like they used to be all MTO type stuff, I believe, and like the other PNW brands, even though I don't really consider Truman like the PNW like the others, they're kind of different. They're kind of their own thing. Then they started doing stock runs, but then you could do MTOs on the side. Now they're almost out of stock of everything, and as far as I know, I haven't run another MTO. But one of those posts I think was about another Rambler run or the final Rambler run. He's saying, so I'm not really sure if Truman knows what they're doing at this point, but I really hope they keep doing it because it's fun and it's neat, and I think they're unique and they help. This is a hell of a boot for the money. So even at $480, I think I kind of lost track of where I was going with that. I think that's a fair price for a really heavy duty. These are thick. This is thick leather. Look at this. Obviously, keep in mind there's a layer for the collar or whatever, but this is beefy. Look at the tongue. And unlike the cognac horse rump being wax flesh, this is super soft. So this is thick, but I don't mind it. It actually kind of just bends and shapes to your ankle, and this is pretty thick leather. It's really nice. It's obviously Horween. If it's wax, they're saying it's real wax flesh from Horween. It's Moc Toe. It's a Moc Toe that requires an additional stitch. Really nice lug sole. Like, I think you're getting a decent boot for that money. These were then marked down significantly, and I think it was a combination of these were on the seconds page, and I have the gold loyalty discount, but I don't know if the holiday sale sort of trumps that, because it's like the loyalty discounting is 10% for the gold, and this is more than 10. These were $120 off. So these I think were 300. Yeah, they were 300. I'll put the picture up. These I think I paid $345 for them shipped. Note that I think shipping was free. Like that's a screaming deal. Okay, I wanted to get this exactly right, so I've had to pull it up. So this is normally an Upland, I guess, at least with wax flesh. I don't know if it would have been different if it's like a horse rump. Would be a $510 boot, and I'll put up pictures here on the side of what I'm looking at. But because it was a seconds boot, and I'll show you the little tiny imperfection. I mean, it's hilarious. They marked it down to $460. So that's like the seconds price. Any other time of the year kind of deal. No special holiday thing going on. But then on top of that, like, because it's stacked, I don't know if it's purely the gold. It says gold 10, which, the loyalty gold level that I'm at, you get 10% off. But 10% off, 460 would have been $46. I got $115 off on this pair. So seemingly that 20 or 25% they were doing for I don't know, it was like Black Friday, but I think it started a week before. Well, everybody was doing that this year. This year was like the year of Black Friday starting in like the beginning of November. This was kind of peculiar this year. So 2024 was like that for a lot of brands. So they started Black Friday early, and I think it was 20 or whatever. Do the math on that. I think that superseded the loyalty, so you don't. Maybe it's not stacked, but it's like it shows the gold discount, but it's a higher discount. So I got these for 115 off the 460, which is off of the 510. So like a $510 boot for $345 shipped to your door. Shipping is free from them. Like that is cheap. This is a freaking hell of a boot for $345. So that's the point I'm trying to make. And Truman, I'll give them a lot more credit than other brands. They always tell you on their seconds page what's wrong with the boot. So that Kanye horse rump I bought literally said it was a custom order that was returned or whatever, something like that. So there was nothing wrong with it at all, and it was true. There was no, I mean, I didn't like the thick tongue, but that was how it was supposed to be built. They will tell you, and I always look at the mock toe listings like this. They'll say like mock toes are asymmetrical or something, and to me, I'm like, okay, well then I don't want it because I'm OCD. I had to sell those Red Wings, which were particularly horrible 875s that had completely different mock toes. But like if you see that and you don't care about it, or you're gonna trash them, then it doesn't matter to you. Or they'll tell you that there's some stitching issue or whatever. This pair of boots, the issue they said was top eyelet was not set correctly. Sorry, it's not that one. I have to like look carefully at them because it's so. But like this is nothing. Check this out. This is what made the boot a seconds boot. They like didn't quite punch it correctly. It got like slightly over punched. Like that's nothing. I don't even like. I mean, I would have noticed it because I'm like OCD. But with the quality control stuff, because I've been burned by Red Wing and whites, a lot of companies kind of do questionable stuff. Nix was the only one that I got lucky with. Other people had bad issues with Nix, I heard, but all my pairs, other than the one they like blew it and sanded and were willing to remake, so that was like a catastrophic mistake where they literally sanded the heel counter. I always had good luck with them, with stitching. But you know what? I'll admit it. I would see plenty of ready to ship Nicks that had horrible stitching here. Like the guy stitching it was like drunk or something and kind of curved and that kind of stuff. I couldn't handle that. But I was like, well, I don't care about the top eyelet. I don't use it. I'm not a logger who does a logger knot. Not that you could even do it in these smaller ones, and I've never really just felt the need. I've tried it where you use the hooks and then you run the laces at the top. I guess the idea is if it falls off a hook that your laces aren't going to just fall apart. But it's just not something I have used. These are really stiff laces. I thought it was going to be like more significant than that. I mean, that's nothing. That's a whites first, factory first, that kind of stuff. You know, whites, they scratch the shit out of their toes. You know, they do some wonky stuff and they call it a factory first. So I'm really impressed. Like, I think their seconds are the best in the game as far as transparency. My Cognac horse rump, it was literally the photo of the boot. Like you're getting a picture of the boot. Some brands don't even do that. You know, I guess Nix does that where you have the ready to ship and factory seconds. It's a photo of the actual boot. But I feel like some brands, I'm thinking like Parkhurst, I don't think it's necessarily because they have multiple sizes on their whatever their seconds, whatever, what do they call that, samples page. You don't necessarily know what you're getting. So they tell you what the issue is. Always it's in red font, so it jumps out. So if you're like careless or new to their website, it's very obvious. And then the issue is so minor. And I saw another guy, that Shoe channel, if you've seen his channel, you know, they were talking about the stitching on the welt being too far over or something. Like they're pretty like, I guess their quality control, I would say, is higher than normal, at least in my experience. And I like everything. You know, you go online, you can find people complaining about Truman having terrible quality control, but who knows? So I don't know. I'm very happy with these. They do exactly what I hoped, which is I thought, well, you know, I normally wear my boots. You guys hear he's talking about my socks because I think it makes a big difference on fit. People don't necessarily realize how much a sock influences it. These are my kind of common socks. They're thinner. They have a little bit, I guess you could say, a slight bit of whatever you call it, cushion or reinforcement on the toe and the heel. But this is what I typically wear all of my boots with. And I wanted this boot, and I had been curious because the 20 last fits me well in 11 and a half, true to size. But like most of these lasts, I feel my big toe touching the corner because of the curve-in. And I wondered, hey, I wonder what a 12 would be like. But I'm like, a 12 could be too big though. But then I'm like, well, I have some thick socks and boot socks. Maybe I can make the 12 work with it. And that's exactly what it is. So I have some various boot socks like this. These are some Dickies I got at Target years ago. They still sell them, I think. It's like a work boot sock. I think it's a synthetic and maybe has some wool mixture in it. It's not a full wool sock, but they're very nice. But you could tell they're quite a bit thicker than these. These are a lot warmer too, as you can imagine, being thicker, and they have a lot of cushion. So they're just kind of thick all over the place. It's not like, I know I have some darn tough that it's thick at the bottom because of the cushion, and then the top will be thinner. These are kind of just thick everywhere, and there's a significant difference. And basically, I can't wear a lot of the boots that I've sized for this kind of sock with these. It doesn't work. One thing I did try, if you've watched my other video, I don't know if I've ever done a video specifically on them, maybe some shorts, but I have a pair of 67 Nicks and 11 Double E, and those work with thick socks like this, or even really thick. I have like a medium hiker sock or whatever from Darn Tough, which is thicker than that one, and some winter socks from Target that are really puffy, even a little bit thicker than this, and those work great with that because they're even wider. Those are actually the socks I was wearing my Kanye horse rump Trumans with, but there's still just too much room in the ball. It's just too wide. They're Double E. So I thought, hey, maybe with this thicker sock, I can make the 12D work. And I was right, fortunately. I actually haven't tried them on yet with the thin sock, but I tried them on immediately with the Dickies, and they feel perfect. They feel kind of the same as the 11.5D does with the thin sock. And then I tried the Darn Tough the second day I wore these. My Darn Tough hiker or whatever, medium thickness sock, and they feel freaking awesome. So it's awesome because I can wear those in this winter, cooler weather, where I actually kind of like the thicker sock or want it, or when I was putting up Christmas lights outside with these, and it was in the evening, 50 to maybe high 40s. It's not actually particularly cold this winter so far. I guess it's not winter technically yet, but anyway, with the thick sock, it's nice and they fit. So I wouldn't be able to wear those socks with my other Trumans that are 11.5D. It would be too tight. So that actually works perfect. It's a good thing to know. And, like this kind of reinforces what I thought, that I probably could make the 79 work in a 12D. The 11.5 Double E wasn't really right. Too wide and not quite long enough. So I assumed the 11.5 D 79 would have been screwed. So probably 12D 79 would work, but I'm not a big fan of that last. The 56 is kind of interesting, but the 79 is kind of a blob. So yeah, the laces you saw in the box are all dark brown and leather. I did lace these up the first day that I got them. I think they came in the mail in the afternoon, so I wore them the rest of the day. And I didn't actually put the brand new pair. You saw they're still in there. I had another pair of rawhide laces that I had just taken out of a pair of boots that I'm going to possibly have some work done on, and I put them in these. And they just are so dark. The dark, the typical rawhide lace on the dark olive. It just seems strange. And I remembered, hey, I have these really light brown rawhide laces I bought years ago from Guarded Goods that I've never figured out what boot I can make work on. And I looked at them and I was like, damn, this tan or whatever looks very similar to the edge of whatever they call their natural dye. And I was like, well, that would work. It would kind of match up with the sole and give a little pop of color and lighten them up. And I think it looks freaking dope. Makes me want to actually order some. I don't think they have them in stock, but the tan lace that are on my natural cypress might look cool, but I would need a longer length for the Upland, or even maybe try I'm not sure. They have a light brown versus a dark brown, or maybe it's brown versus dark brown. And I'm thinking the brown might be lighter than the one they ship you. I think the one in the box is a dark brown. So I might try that because the Truman laces are nice. But for now, this is going to be how they run these. They look good. I'm really happy with these. They, I would say, if it's hard to say this because I'm certain these thick laces would be too much for my 11.5D 20 last boots. Really happy with these. Would be very bummed if Truman exits, kind of this heritage. I don't know what you want to call it. This kind of more rugged, I guess, rugged in quotes space where it's not a work boot, but it's not a Thursday or Alden, or Allen Edmonds, which are all definitely, in my opinion, much more on the dressy side, business casually side of boots. These are definitely more of a rugged boot. Something like Timberland Boot Company, which is dead, I think dead, and I'm trying to think of other brands who kind of are in this space. Thorogood, Red Wing, I guess, their heritage stuff. It'd be a bummer if they left this market or left the boot market entirely, because they make a damn good product, and I think it's very unique, and it's priced very well. They have a lot of good things going for it, and I think the owner is kind of a funny guy. If you watch, I shared a old interview with Dale's Leatherworks did with him earlier today, but or I shared it on my channel as far as like on the community. We'll see what happens, but if it does end, it was a good time, and I'm glad I picked up, well, 3 that I'm keeping, 1 pair that's for sale because it didn't fit right, but maybe scope out eBay or something if they do disappear. But maybe it was all just a ruse and he's just getting some sales. I actually, that's what I'm hoping for, and then we can continue to buy these boots because I'm really digging this 20 last. I think I might be set on Moc Toes, having a couple now. What I really want is another, what I really would love is a 20 last cap toe, but those seem to be like something they don't make anymore, but I've seen them online. I shared one that I saw on eBay. That wasn't my size. Or even just another plain toe 20 last, like my natural cypress. I think I'd go for something like that next. But I wanted a storm welt. You see some of their MTOs. And then I've seen some crazy stuff where they did a makeup. I'll throw the photos up that I saw a couple pairs trying to research this. They did like a semi-dress style internal counter cover pattern is the word I'm looking for. A pattern. And I've never seen that like for sale, so I don't know if that was some weird thing they ran. But those look super cool because it was like a 20 last with that, what I'm going to call the semi-dress style pattern with the internal counter cover. That would be like a Truman version of a white semi-dress, but better because the semi-dress is on the 55 last, and I don't like that last. 20 last is much better than the 55 in my opinion, and it'd be kind of neat, It would obviously be Truman where it's a lower heel, which I like the lower heel, and it's going to be a block heel, but I feel like that with their commando sole could be pretty dope, or even like their Eugene regrind. That'd be neat. That's a really cool sole. I liked all the specs in it and stuff. The color of it's nice. So we'll see what happens. But hope you didn't sleep on this brand, and we'll see what happens if they continue or it's another thing. What did I say in my other video? Another nice thing we can't have. We can't have nice things. Cheers.